The tragic case of Kelly Wilkinson, missed warnings, a wildly inappropriate note, and a life lost. In April 2021, on Australia's Gold Coast, a 27-year-old mother of three was brutally killed inside her own home, a place that should have been her refuge. Her name was Kelly Wilkinson. In the weeks before her death, she contacted police multiple times. She was afraid. She reported breaches of a protection order. She raised serious concerns about her estranged husband. But after her killing, an internal police database note came to light, one that suggested she may have been cop shopping to get the outcome she wants. A senior detective would later call that comment wildly inappropriate. Tonight on Unveiled Truth, Crime Tales, we examine the heartbreaking case of Kelly Wilkinson, the warning signs, the system failures under scrutiny, the coronial inquest, and the questions that still linger. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe to Unveiled Truth, Crime Tales for in-depth crime investigations, ongoing trial updates, and carefully researched case breakdowns from around the world. Kelly Wilkinson was a 27-year-old mother of three living in Arundel, a suburb on Queensland's Gold Coast. Friends described her as protective of her children, determined to build a safe future, resilient despite enduring years of alleged abuse. Her relationship with Earl Johnston had reportedly been turbulent. By 2021, the couple had separated. Kelly had taken legal steps to protect herself. A domestic violence protection order was in place against Johnston. But protection orders only work if violations are taken seriously and if enforcement is consistent. And that's where the system began to fracture. In the weeks leading up to April 20th, 2021, Kelly reportedly contacted police multiple times. According to reporting by major Australian outlets including ABC News, The Guardian, Australian Associated Press, Kelly raised concerns about alleged breaches of the domestic violence order, ongoing harassment, serious safety fears. At the time, Johnston had also been charged with sexually assaulting her, an extremely serious allegation. Under Queensland law, such a charge should have required a court appearance before a magistrate for bail consideration. But the inquest later heard that Johnston was granted police bail instead. That decision would become one of several examined under scrutiny. One of the most disturbing revelations during the coronial inquest came from a police database entry. After Kelly reported alleged breaches of her protection order, a note was entered suggesting she appeared to be cop shopping to get the outcome she wants. This phrase implies that a person is approaching multiple officers hoping for a favorable response. At the Southport Coroners Court hearing, Detective Inspector Paul Fletcher addressed that note. He described it as wildly inappropriate. The inquest examined why the note was written, whether it influenced police response, whether unconscious bias played a role. When victims of domestic violence are perceived as exaggerating or manipulating, their credibility can suffer, sometimes with fatal consequences. On April 20th, 2021, emergency services were called to Kelly's Arundel home. She had been fatally attacked. Reports confirmed she was stabbed and set on fire. Her three children were inside the house at the time. The brutality of the crime shocked the Gold Coast community. Johnston was arrested and later charged with murder. In 2024, he pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to life imprisonment. But a guilty plea does not end questions about prevention. The inquest at Southport Coroners Court focused not on guilt that had already been established, but on systemic failures. Key questions included: did police respond appropriately to repeated reports? Were bail laws properly applied? Were risk assessments adequate? Did communication failures occur between officers? Evidence showed Kelly reached out multiple times. The inquest examined whether there were missed opportunities to revoke bail, escalate risk classification, strengthen protection enforcement. Coronial inquests in Australia aim to prevent future deaths. They analyze patterns, procedures, and institutional response. In domestic violence cases, these reviews often expose systemic cracks rather than isolated errors. One critical issue involved Queensland bail procedures. Under state law, certain serious charges require appearance before a magistrate. The inquest heard that Johnston's sexual assault charge should have triggered that process. Instead, He was granted police bail. The decision raised urgent questions. Was policy misunderstood? Was discretion improperly applied? Was risk underestimated? Domestic violence advocacy groups have long argued that risk escalation can happen rapidly during separation, often the most dangerous period for victims. Kelly had separated. She had reported breaches. And she had warned authorities. Kelly's death became part of a broader national conversation in Australia about domestic violence enforcement, victim credibility bias, bail reform, police training. Her case underscores a harsh reality. Protection orders are not shields. They are only as strong as their enforcement. When warning signs accumulate, repeated reports, escalating allegations, breach claims, response consistency matters. Inquests often recommend improved risk assessment models, better interagency communication, clearer bail compliance procedures, trauma-informed policing. The final recommendations in this case aim to prevent another mother from being lost. Beyond policy and procedure are 3 children who lost their mother. Friends described Kelly as someone trying to rebuild her life, trying to be safe, trying to be heard. The phrase cop shopping now stands as a painful reminder of how language can influence perception and possibly response. Detective Inspector Fletcher's acknowledgement that the note was wildly inappropriate signals institutional recognition. But recognition comes after irreversible loss. Kelly Wilkinson did what many victims are told to do: report, document, seek protection, contact authorities. And yet, she was killed. The coronial inquest is not about rewriting the past. It is about changing the future. If you found this deep dive important, subscribe to Unveiled Truth, crime tales for continued coverage of major crime cases, legal breakdowns, and investigative storytelling that asks the difficult questions. Because sometimes, the most important part of a case isn't the verdict. It's the warning signs that came before it. Until next time, stay informed, stay aware, and seek truth.